The gender pay gap back in the headlines, as you saw. I went through all that data. Out today, of course, by the federal government's Workplace Gender Equality Agency. The agency looks at the gap between what men earn and women earn, and it's company by company. It's 19%, they say, overall, when you put bonuses, overtime and allowances into the mix. Some of the biggest companies in the country have been hit with claims of major disparities between men and women. CommBank, Qantas, Woolies, of course. But as I explained, the devil's in the detail when it comes to statistics. To discuss it more, Shadow Finance Minister Jane Hume. Minister, thank you for your time. Labor went pretty hard on this issue in question time, but I think I've stepped people through it. We're not comparing apples with apples here in these statistics, are we?
That's right, Peter. The data is flawed. There is no doubt about that. It doesn't compare men and women doing the same job. And on top of that, it compares median salaries, not average salaries. I understand that is going to change in future data sets, but right now this data does have its problems. Now, that said, is it entirely useless? There are some things that we can learn from this data. One of the things that struck me was some of those companies, and some of them that you named earlier on, make a big deal every year of International Women's Day, or they market their products to women, or they take active roles in social campaigns or political campaigns, and yet they perhaps haven't looked in their own backyard to see whether they really are meeting their own very high standards for others. So next time some of their employees accept a cupcake on International Women's Day or have to go to a breakfast of some sort, they might think twice about that. Some of the other things that I think were really interesting in this data was the fact that the unions, who have always put themselves out there as champions of women and champions in the workforce, have some pretty damning statistics that they own. But the one that really got me stuck in my craw was the fact that this data from WGEA, which has been pushed very hard and is being championed now and shouted out from the rooftops by the Minister for Women, who is also the Minister for the Public Service, doesn't include public service data. They have missed out. They've been carved out of this data. Now, 60% of the public service is made up of women, and yet somehow they've been missed from this data set. Now, I understand that again, will change, but let's be realistic here. We can use this data. Certainly it shines a light, but it has its flaws.